Happy New Year, wizards, witches, and golden snitches. I'm so excited that it's a new year. I love New Year's. I know it's the collective New Year and it's not like the traditional energetic New Year, but it's still like it's such fresh energy, and I love a good new beginning. So I'm very grateful for all of the changes that happened in 2025, all of the blessings, all of the shedding, every single moment. And now with 2026, from what I've been mapping for my personal year through the Channing app, not sponsored, but absolutely love it. Also doing like individual tarot readings and being able to like channel into and doing future sight on myself. I'm really looking forward to what 2026 has in store. So yeah. I'm sure, like most of you, my TikTok feed, my Instagram reels, like everything that's been coming up in my content, my feed recently has been about manifestation and people talking about manifestation and kind of like, how do you do it? What's the purpose behind it? Even like people going as far as to say, here's the neuroscience behind it, which great, love it. It is that time of year, understandable. I wanted to talk about energetically. These are the 3 blocks that I have experienced as a professional practitioner that I think are the most common in what either delays or prevents people's manifestations from coming in. All right, let's get into it. The first block that I most commonly see when it comes to your manifestations not working or being delayed coming in is you need to look at where is resistance to change appearing in your life and what expectation or thoughts are coming up around how your manifestation is going to come in. Now, those two go hand in hand, so let me kind of break this down for you. When you manifest or write a petition to the universe asking for something, what you are actually doing is you are creating an agreement with the universe to co-create the desire that you want into existence. So we're using a combination of aligned action and magic to make room for this desire and also give the universe the creativity to call this thing in that we're asking for. Now, this is where the block comes up because it's that make room part where the resistance naturally occurs. We as humans do not like change. We like things to be comfortable. We like things to be as known to us as possible. But when you decide to essentially take a leap of faith and make this manifestation, you are getting pushed out of this zone, of this comfort, in order to be able to be open to the possibilities and open to the universe with how your desire is going to show up in your life. The bottom line is we have to change. And so when that occurs, when that change happens, that discomfort happens, that sometimes naturally puts us into lower vibrational feelings. So we start doubting whether our manifestation's ever going to come in. We get frustrated with not seeing it come in quick enough or not seeing the results we were expecting. And sometimes we just ultimately give up and give into the defeat of, well, this just wasn't meant for me. Analyzing and realizing where your resistance to change manifests, no pun intended, in your life is the key to how you can combat this block. Because once you're able to catch it and you're able to realize what thoughts are coming up, you're able to transmute them. And then you can also rewire your nervous system so that way your manifestation doesn't feel like this big, impossible, scary thing, but it's something that is safe and totally possible. Now, the second component of this piece is the expectation and releasing the how this is going to manifest into your life. I know I have really struggled with this in the past, especially in my spell work, because I have a very vivid imagination. So when I was doing a working, I would come up with so many different ways, like the outcome could reach the certain point that I was trying to get to. And in a way that almost sometimes made my magic ineffective. Like, okay, for example, when I would do money workings, I used to joke with the universe, like, haha, wouldn't it be so funny if I won the lottery tomorrow? But you should know by now that that's not how the universe works. It's not how it responds to you. It's not Amazon where you place an order and get your package in 2 business days. And I'm going to go on like a slight tangent here because I feel like in our capitalistic patriarchal society, we have really been conditioned to expect convenience, and that often has a lot of subconscious and like undertones in our spell work when we do it. So it's really important that when you're analyzing your manifestations, when you're analyzing your spell work and making those petitions, that you're really looking at your thoughts. And if you're seeing that kind of undertone, then transmuting it will help. However, I find that the most effective way to combat that is actually thinking about the final outcome, but thinking about the feeling that you are feeling at the end of your manifestation. So when you have your desire, sitting in that emotion of what it feels like to have your desire and really integrate that into your nervous system, because when you do that, what you're doing is you're sending that feeling and that signal to your brain. Your brain is also very logical, so it's trying to clone in your mind all of these scenarios of how this manifestation can come in. However, at the same time it's doing that, it's also reminding you that you currently lack it. So lack mindset is something I feel like a lot of people go more into depth to, and I'm not going to waste a lot of time talking about it in the context of this video. But going back to, we were sending signals through our nervous system. When you send those, like, it is safe, that those emotional feelings of like, we have it, it's ours, it's here, that in essence is being sent to your brain and taking it out of the context of, well, we don't have it, to actually we do. So it's taking it out of the future context of one day we're going to have this into, oh, presently we are feeling these feelings, so we must currently have it. And kind of doing a little reverse logic on your brain to help pull forth and realign your energy for your manifestation. And that actually transitions beautifully into my second block as to why your manifestation may not be working or is possibly delayed. That second block is your lack of self-trust and worthiness to have what you desire. Huh? I know, that one hurt. But I promise you, I have such a fun way that you can rework your identity and turn yourself into someone who is confident and gets everything that they want. Now, like the first set of blocks, these two also go hand in hand. Because if you're having doubts and feelings about being able to have and to hold your manifestation, then in turn, that impacts your worthiness and your essential ability to be able to have that being called into your own reality. And where I see this come up the most is people's money manifestations. Let me explain. Changing your relationship to money to one that is responsible, to one that is able to hold and keep money in your wallet, in your bank account, is vital if you are going to do any type of money working or money manifestation. That also helps in turn with our worthiness and our confidence, especially if we're trying to manifest money to pay off a loan or pay off a certain debt. Now, how you do this is so much fun, and I promise you it's going to be amazing, and I wouldn't be a fandom witch if it wasn't. To rebuild your self-trust and worthiness, you have to practice these 2 things: discipline and consistency. I can't tell you how many times that we say we're going to do something or we make a commitment and then we don't follow through with it. And more often than not, we brush it off and are just like, oh, well, try again next time. But every time you do that, you're actually reinforcing an identity that breaks your self-trust and is someone who cannot be counted on. And every little micro event like that builds into a blockchain, and it just spirals until it's created your entire personality. So it could just go from, okay, I'm not going to go ahead and do this one thing that I said I was going to do today. And then suddenly that turns into a lack of confidence for you to be able to commit to other events in the future that maybe you really want to do, but you just can't do it for some reason. There's this subconscious internal block that is preventing you from saying yes. And also go further into, am I able to stay consistent and make plans with people? Am I able to believe in myself enough to be able to go after my dreams, my goals, my desires? You get the point. The more you build, the deeper it gets into your identity, into your energy, into your blocks. Now, here's the fun part. How do I rewrite that identity? I play a video game, and let me show you how that works. Okay, so I'm gonna load my Kingdom Hearts challenge run, and I'm just gonna show you here. So in stats, I go down and I see, okay, I have 3,196 experience points until I reach the next level, which is level 41. So what I will do to myself is I will say out loud, okay, I am committing to get those experience points in this one setting. And every time I get that experience point, I am reinforcing that I am disciplined and that I am consistent. So, oops, I forgot. So here, I'll show you. What the hell? I am disciplined and I am consistent. And then if I do miss things like that, because we're not perfect all the time, I just remind myself that mistakes happen and that they're kind of part of life. And it's okay that if we mess up every now and again. So every experience point, I am consistent and I am disciplined. And if video games aren't your thing, that is totally fine. Just pick an activity that brings you joy. So it's supposed to be a fun activity. Set yourself a goal, and every time you take a step or reach a milestone within that goal, tell yourself, I am practicing my discipline and my consistency. I am a person that's disciplined and consistent. And ultimately, that is going to rewire your identity, rework your identity, and it's going to rebuild your self-trust. Before I get into the last block, I want to do a quick shameless plug. If you like the content, please like, share, subscribe, all of the things. I'm very new to YouTube, and so I'm really trying to grow this platform. I also am a professional witch, so if you check the link down below, you can book a reading if you want to work with me. I do a variety of readings, channeling, all types of sessions to give you the spiritual guidance that is in your highest and best self that you need in order to grow. Also, if you are looking for more learning resources that are not just like being published here on this channel, I do have a Patreon, so you can go and subscribe and get access to all kinds of materials, especially if you're a beginner to witchcraft and you don't know where to start. I have lots of beginner-friendly materials to kind of digest and get you into your craft and into a spiritual routine. Now, the last and final block as to why your manifestation may not be working or why it's delayed is kind of a tough one to digest, but bear with me. But the last block is that you're manifesting the wrong thing. Huh? Yeah. Yikes. But I have an example, and I want to kind of show you through this client of mine kind of what I mean by this. So like I said, I had a client that booked a block removal session with me, and she also had lupus. So I understood the type of pain that she was describing to me, and I was able to easily relate to her regarding that. And she was telling me about what she was manifesting, and she honestly was manifesting this new treatment. She said, it's going to get rid of my pain, it's going to be great, like all these things. And when I sat with her through the session, we were able to come to the realization that she was actually manifesting the wrong thing. And her desire was not actually this new treatment. Her desire was to release and get rid of the pain. So we were able to take her manifestation. We were able to rework it, rewrite her petition to the universe. And then 2 weeks later, God, I love this part. 2 weeks later, she gets a call from her doctor that the original treatment she was manifesting wasn't covered by her insurance. However, there was a different treatment that would be just as effective. It was completely covered, and her copay was only $10, available at her local CVS, which phenomenal. And I'm really happy to report that she's doing so much better. She isn't feeling that kind of pain anymore, and that the treatment's working great. So wins, love it. All that to say, take some time and get down to the root of what it is you actually desire. And then once you do that, rework your manifestation, rework your petition to be the thing that you actually desire. Okay, that was a lot of information. So let's go back and kind of recap what we talked about in this video. So there are 3 main blocks of what is preventing your manifestation from coming in. And again, these are in my experience that I have seen as a practitioner and working with my clients. So number 1, look at how resistance to change and expectations about your manifestation are appearing in your life. Number 2, look at your self-trust and your worthiness. And number 3, are you manifesting what you think you are manifesting? And that's all I got for you today. I know this was a big, heavy video, but hopefully it is helpful information for you, especially as you go into 2026 looking to really amplify your manifestations and call in the things that you really want to call in. Thank you so much for watching my video. Again, if you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Oh, and if you have ideas, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I am really open to making different content, so yeah, would love to see that. Okay, bye.